Hello, everyone. Here's your weather hazard briefing for Wednesday, February 15th. Now that we've got our low moving out of here, we are looking at colder and drier conditions as we continue through the rest of this week. And it won't be until later in the weekend that we see the potential for some precipitation returning. We do have some dangerous wind chills expected, especially to this morning, although the clouds have been holding that trend up a little bit for most of the overnight hours and again for Thursday morning. It looks like by the time we get to later Saturday into next week, we have moisture moving back in. So rain and snow. Some areas will be definitely warm enough for rain in the lower elevations for once we get into Sunday and beyond. Otherwise, it'll be snow, and with the winds expected with this pattern and the higher elevations, there could be quite a bit of blowing and drifting snow in those areas. Satellite shows the clouds thinning, but the potential of the more widespread, really low wind chills, the clouds have been holding that up, and a lot of this is higher cloud cover. We do have some pockets of lower clouds around for this morning, and with that there, the wind chills, we're still looking at wind chills across portions of the upper Snake Plain into the eastern highlands, also into the southeastern corner as well, and even the colder pockets up in the central mountains. Still the potential for some areas seeing wind chills lower than -20. So far, they've been running in the 0 to -20 range for a good portion of those areas. Once you get into the Magic Valley, those wind chills have been running about 0 to 15 above. So, like we said, it's there. It will be cold out there. It will feel cold. You do not want to be out for a long period of time, as you could see some frostbite and hypothermia setting in if you're out for too long this morning. For the rest of the area, especially up in the eastern highlands, we need to really mention up along the Montana border, we do have quite a bit of blowing and drifting snow with very strong winds spilling over the Continental Divide. We have been seeing some travel impacts in those areas. Those should be, as we go through the rest of the day, starting to dwindle as the winds start to die down. For Thursday, the dangerous wind chills will continue across portions of the Snake Plain into the eastern highlands as well. We're also going to see some patchy freezing fog and low clouds. That also could play into how widespread the low wind chills are for tomorrow morning, and that trend continues into Friday morning. It will be a little bit warmer Friday morning. Still, some portions of the Snake Plain could see wind chills at or below -20. Going into Saturday, it continues to be cold, but the overall moderation of temperatures continues. Slight snow is possible very late in the day up around Island Park, also around Limhi County. A few other spots in the central mountains in the southeast highlands could see some light snow. Not much of a chance Saturday. That trend picks up on Sunday. It will start to be breezy across the area, and most areas will see some light snow, but like the warm spots, the Magic Valley into the South Hills, there could be a little bit of a mix with rain if we can get some precipitation to fall in those areas. For this morning, those wind gusts in a lot of areas running 20 to 30 miles per hour, pockets of higher wind gusts across the South Hills, but again, coming out of the Central Mountains and also across the Divide, wind gusts near 40 or higher are certainly not out of the question for the rest of the morning, and likely will continue at least through the first part of the morning. Going into the afternoon, you can see the winds starting to dwindle, but still some gusty winds in excess of 30 miles an hour up north, also down across the I-84 corridor, also into portions of the South Hills and the southeastern highlands as well. Temperature for today will be in the 20s for the most part. The warmest temperatures will be once you get into the Magic and Treasure Valleys in the low to mid 30s. If you're heading up to the high country day, especially in the central mountains, it's only going to be 14s for afternoon highs. Winds tonight, for the most part, running under 10 miles an hour, but still some gusts in the teens across the region, especially where we can get a little bit of still a bit of a west wind. The winds never really will be fully out of the northeast once you get into the meat of the Magic Valley into the Treasure Valley, and also still some gusts coming out of the central mountains and up along the Montana border around 10 to 20 miles per hour for tonight. Those continue to lighten up for tomorrow morning. Now, Temperatures, air temperatures in the morning, they'll be a lot cooler in some areas because there's not a lot of wind and cloud cover. Many areas running in the single digits above to around 15 below zero. Some 20 below zero air temperatures possible up in the Arco Desert, also down in the southeast corner, but you'll notice over into the Magic Valley, we're talking teens once again for overnight lows. Even with a little bit of wind, we're going to see those wind chills in the morning in the single digits above zero from Pocatello westward. You get farther to the north and to the east, we're talking wind chills below zero. The potential is still there for wind chills running about 20, maybe 25 below in some areas of the Snake Plain, the upper Snake Plain, into the eastern highlands, and certainly down around the Bear Lake area and the colder pockets up in the central mountains for tomorrow morning. Tomorrow afternoon, where we keep the inversion in place, it's only going to be in the teens for afternoon highs, otherwise 20s and 30s. And you start to see the warm-up coming from the lower Snake Plain into the Magic and Treasure Valleys. Also, some of the Central Mountain regions pushing closer to the freezing mark tomorrow. Once you get into the Burley area, we're mid-30s, upper 30s, maybe near 40 once you get over towards Glens Ferry and Mountain Home for Thursday afternoon. Thursday night, we start to see the wind picking back up, some good gusty winds across the Magic Valley out of the northeast. Also some gap winds coming out of the south from Pocatello westward over towards Twin Falls as well. That with their air temperatures starting to warm up a little bit, wind chills still in some areas at 0 to minus 20, but maybe not as widespread for those potential for wind chills dipping to around minus 20, maybe minus 25, mainly confined to portions of the Snake Plain for Friday morning. Otherwise, it will still feel chilly out there, even with the slight warm-up in a few spots for Friday morning. Highs on Friday, we continue to warm up. You can see where the inversion's holding. It's going to be in the upper teens to lower 20s elsewhere. More folks pushing towards 32 degrees, including from around the Pocatello area. Mid-30s, upper 30s once you get into the Magic Valley, and certainly as you get over towards Glens Ferry and also over towards Mountain Home, near 40 degrees for Friday afternoon. Saturday morning, we continue the trend, but you really start to see the warm-up for those overnight lows. Still, where we can keep it colder, will be around 0 to 10 below for temperatures, and the wind chills in those areas 0 to minus 20 for Saturday morning. Otherwise, low single digits, low teens below 0 to right around 10 above 0 for wind chills once you get into the Magic Valley. Highs on Saturday continuing to warm up. Some more 40s showing up into the Magic and Treasure Valleys. Still holding only in the teens to low 20s where the inversion holds on Saturday. That's when we start to see the precipitation trying to move into the area. And the trend continues upward by 2 to 5 degrees for Sunday. A better chance of precipitation trying to move into the area for Sunday across the board. So like we said, it remains dry until we get into the latter part of the weekend. We do have some dangerous wind chill conditions expected this morning. The clouds have been holding that up a bit, but as we go through the rest of the morning, some areas will see wind chills below minus 20. That trend continues in some areas for tomorrow morning and even, and to some extent, for Friday morning in a few spots as well. Once the precip returns, it'll be warm enough for some rain or a mix of rain and snow in the lower elevations, but in the higher elevations where we can keep it mostly snow, with this windy pattern setting up some blowing or drifting snow is expected. Have a great Wednesday out there, and if you're driving, check some of those road conditions this morning. We still have some blowing snow and some road closures in some areas. Stay safe out there, everyone.